Hello, my name is Jimmy and this is the 2023 Land Rover Range Rover, the top of the line SUV from the manufacturer. This specific model here is the Canadian spec P440e SE short wheelbase. There's a longer wheelbase you can get. There's a P400, there's a P530, there's also diesel engines in other countries, but this right here, P440, which means it's an inline six with a plug-in hybrid and, well, shorter wheelbase, 2 rows of seats. But let me tell you everything you need to know about it, starting with the looks. On the front end, this is distinctively Range Rover, right? You got your Range Rover plaque right across the hood here. The really upright grille, beautiful LED headlamps, fog lamps down below, and it just looks, well, so elegant and stunning. It's not over-styled in any way, but it just has that look that, well, you can't really look away from. On the side, as it does have the air suspension, I have it lowered all the way down, so it looks, well, a lot more sleek here for the video. 22-inch wheels that actually don't look that big until you see it in person, and they're just absolutely massive. I do like how those look. And I also really love this styling element here. It's just so different. And speaking of different, take a look at this rolled edge across the top here. This is something that you generally don't find in other manufacturers. It's so, well, just elegant in its overall shape. And you still have the overall Range Rover shape and pop-out door handles with a press of a button, front and rear, and you have the proximity door locks not only on the front, but on the rear as well. Moving to the back here, just another styling element that I really like on here. You got your roof spoiler on top, these LED tail lamps that look absolutely magnificent. I mean, when the vehicle is stopped like this, you don't even see them. They just integrate so well into the back of the vehicle. But when it turns on, well, it's a full LED tail lamp. Range Rover across the back. And yeah, it's just a very elegant machine. The only thing that's a little weird in some people's eyes is maybe the dual antennas that you got on top. But one of them is an antenna and the other one is a camera system for the rear view mirror. But it's a really elegant and sleek looking machine. I absolutely love it. If we open up the tailgate, you can see the top part goes up and you get a bottom part here where you can sit on, which is just absolutely magnificent. I love this. Inside here, you get 40.7 cubic feet of space. Plenty of space for everything that you need. The tonneau cover is an automated tonneau cover, so with a press of a button, I can make it slide forward and back as needed. Underneath the floor, I have the optional full-size spare tire. So yeah, there's a 22-inch spare underneath the floor. And if you don't need the full-size spare tire, well, you get a lot of space back. That's a 285/45/22. Massive spare tire under here. But let's check out those rear seats. All right, the back seats. First of all, the doors, soft closing, which you gotta have at this price segment. I'm 5'11", and there's good headroom, good legroom, and pretty comfortable. As said, you can get a long wheelbase for extra comfort if you like, and an additional third row if you opt for that. But it's just a really nice place to be. The leather that's in here, it smells amazing. It really does. I wish you can just take a whiff of this. It's just extraordinary. It really is. Everything you touch is just beautiful, like soft leather. The seats themselves, I do have the power tilt, so I can tilt them up, recline them back as I need. I got these little buttons on the side, so I'm able to control the windows, which is pretty normal, but I'm able to control both of the windows. Not only the one on the driver's side, but also on the passenger side. That's kind of cool. And all the light switches are here. I can even mute the audio and close the sunroof with the buttons on the side. You do get a 120 volt outlet, USB charge points all in the center, and the climate controls. Everything is there. Heated and cooled seats, and of course, you got your cup holders and armrest right in the center. I mean, it really is everything you need. But if you want more, you can, because you can get massaging seats in here as well. Of course, that's going to cost you a little bit more. However, if you're going to be carrying kiddos in here, I think this is more than enough. I am a child passenger safety technician, and, well, I'm certified to put these child seats in here securely. On the driver's side, this is a collect laying infant seat. As cabin is quite large, there's no problems getting this child seat in here. The infant carrier is able to slide right into the cabin with ease. On the passenger side, this is the collect fifth. a larger rear-facing child seat. And once again, as you can see, absolutely no problems getting that seat in here. There's plenty of space for that. And in front, I still have more than enough room for myself at 5'11". In terms of lower anchors, there's a set on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. They're not the hardest to get access to, but they're definitely not as good as some other manufacturers, but I think it's fine once you got them installed. And you have the 3 upper anchors behind the seats. I'm not too sure if you have the 3-row version or the massaging seats in here in the second row, if those attributes will change, but definitely do check out your dealer and make sure you ask the right questions before purchasing and getting your child seats in here. But in any case, let's move up to the front. All right, the front seats. As said, I'm 5'11", headroom, legroom is all very, very good. There's no problems with that. The only thing is I'm just lacking a little bit of that thigh support that I kind of wish it had. The seat bases, they do kind of extend out, but not as far as I like. I like, well, the BMW seats, for example, where you get that additional thigh support that just kind of pushes out. I wish it had that. But the seats are very comfortable. They're super soft. They have adjustable bolsters. They're heated. They're cool. They're massaging. I mean, it's everything you really need in a seat. And you get these armrests, which are, to me, a little redundant because, well, the left armrest is that far apart. The middle armrest is here anyway. So I feel like that's good enough. But this is very traditional Range Rover, so they have to put it in. And it just makes it a little bit odd because it's not as far out as, well, the left side. But you have them if you want them, and if not, you can push them back. In front of me, this dual-tone steering wheel is absolutely beautiful. Leather everywhere. You get this aluminum piece on the inset here. Just a really, really nice wheel. You do get some like these haptic buttons on the side, which can be a little bit iffy to kind of use and kind of work around with. But I think over time, it's going to be okay. You're going to get used to them, so I don't think that's too much of a problem. Behind that, a full digital cluster, and it's not like a square digital display. It's this trapezoidal shape, which makes it actually quite unique. It has all the things that you really need on it. You got all the like readouts and everything, and it is customizable as well. The only thing I will say is it's just a little laggy when you're switching between menus and going into things, but it's one of those things that you don't really use while driving. You are not really switching those modes, so it shouldn't matter too much, but it is something to note. Above, you do have a pretty good heads-up display that shows you plenty of information. And then your infotainment. This curved screen, it's absolutely beautiful. It's the latest JLR infotainment system. It actually works really well. The menu is really nicely set up with its 3 panes. I actually really like it. I don't have any problems with it, and it's not as laggy as like the previous generation. This is definitely a lot better. There's wireless CarPlay, which I've been using, and I haven't had any connectivity issues in the week. So overall, I think it's absolutely great. The only thing is, because it is a full display, the only kind of control you have with it is the display. There is a volume knob in the center, but the climate control is all underneath, so you have access to that. But everything else is going to be within the menu. For some, that may become an issue. For others, it should be fine. Your mileage may vary on that. You do have a wireless Qi charger here in the center, USB charge points, a cup holder that can slide away to reveal more space underneath with additional USB charge points, and in the center here, you get a really deep cubby. You can opt for an air conditioning cubby as well, so if you're carrying treats and whatnot, you can put that in there. I mean, let's be honest, this is a beautiful cabin. It's beautifully finished. Everything that you touch in here, it's a soft, silky, smooth leather, aluminum, just high quality touch points everywhere. And it's kind of what you're expecting, right? It is a Range Rover after all. I mean, even this glove box here, it's just so beautifully damped. It's exquisite. It really is. Before we go for our drive, let's talk a little bit about the powertrain. As mentioned, this is the P440e, which means under the hood, you get a 3-liter inline-6 that's turbocharged as well as electrified. Together, it makes 434 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. The electrical motor alone makes 105 kilowatts or 140 horsepower. Mated to that is an 8-speed gearbox and 4-wheel drive with low range. On the road, well, as you expect, the Range Rover is a calm place to be. It's so quiet, it's so floaty, it's just the ultimate luxury experience. It really is. And that's really what Range Rover is designed for. It's not so much well, an off-roader anymore, as it is just, well, the most luxurious SUV you really want. Sure, you can get a Rolls-Royce and a Bentley Bentayga, but this doesn't have to hit that kind of mark, and it's still really, really good. Let's talk about a few things though. First, maneuverability. Absolutely awesome. Even though this is quite a large vehicle, because it does have that rear wheel steering, well, maneuvering in a parking lot, it's absolutely a breeze. Making tight U-turns, no problems at all. It's, well, actually quite, well, maneuverable. I mean, it's just not something that you would expect with a vehicle of this size. In terms of power, well, the P440 here, because it is a plug-in hybrid, most of the time you're going to be driving around in electrical power. For most kind of city driving, the 80 kilometers that it has of electrical range, that you can drive up to like 140 kilometers per hour is, well, all you really need for most people's kind of like daily commute. And it's more than enough power. Sure, you press the throttle down, it's not like gonna throw you back in your seat or anything like that with just the electrical power. But if you do press that throttle fully, the engine does fire up. It's pretty instantaneous and you get all of that power. And the engine actually, well, the engine note sounds pretty good. It's very, very hushed. It's not like a Range Rover Sport SVR or anything like that. But it's still, well, you get a little bit of that audio soundtrack from that really silky smooth inline six. I do like that. In terms of the ride, like I said, it's very, very plush. It's very comfortable. If you put it to dynamic, which you can do with this knob in the center here, it does firm things up a little bit and makes the ride a little bit more jittery, but it's not, well, it's definitely not like a full-on sports SUV like a BMW X5M, for example. And that, well, some people might even call that harsh. This on sport mode, I would just say it's a little bit firmer than you might want, but you put this knob down on auto and, well, it just does everything that you need. It's so, just so comfortable. Starting at 138,000 or as equipped about 159,000 Canadian dollars, it's not the cheapest SUV in the world. It definitely isn't. But if you compare like a X5, X7, or GLE and GLS from Mercedes, I mean, it's kind of there. But this, it gets you, well, so much more. I feel like the interior of this, the exterior, the elegance that it's able to provide, it is a step above BMW and Mercedes. I feel like this is definitely better on that scale. And when you go to a fancy hotel, they're gonna park this in the front. Whereas an X5, an X7, they probably won't. This has that level of, well, poshness to it that, well, BMW as well as Mercedes just can't really get you. And that's really one of the biggest things and one of the biggest, well, differentiator between this and more pedestrian luxury vehicles, let's say. This is just a lot more elegant. Sure, it might not be in your country, but here in North America, it absolutely is. In any case, what do you think of the P440e Range Rover SE here? Is this the engine to take? I mean, I'm averaging 5 liters for 100 kilometers in the entire week that I've been driving it. And I did a lot of highway driving that I exceeded the electrical range. That's why I use a little bit of fuel. So I think it's absolutely great. But let me know what you think. P530 maybe? Big V8? That should be pretty good. 4.4 liter. It kind of sounds like a BMW engine. In any case, thank you so much for watching this video. Like the video if you do. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll catch you next week. Take care.